wonder if I'm capable of ranting about something and not making it last a super long time. Doubtful. Okay, so I guess I'll discuss various theories of our current reality in this place, right? People have a lot of theories. Seems that most people like to steer away from simulation theory. I still tend to think that's the only dang thing that makes sense. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so let's take the Mandela effect, for instance, right? Just as an example. But you could add other things. I'm not just talking about. I'm talking about all supernatural type events, unexplainable things that people have witnessed, glitches in reality, planes freezing in place, people freezing in place, animals freezing in place, time distortions, teleportations, strange witnessing of things like ghosts, apparitions, flying orbs, UFOs, space aliens, whatever the fuck, right? Alterations to the timeline on a grand scale. And let's take into account, the observer effect in the double slit experiment, right? For instance. All right, the only two theories that I see that would make any sense of this, I really think it comes down to simulation effect. I'll be honest with you. I was gonna say the only two theories I could think of that really make sense is that we're in a dream. It's a computer simulation or a shared dream realm where something else. Well, okay. If here's what it would have to be if it's a dream realm, right? Which you could try to say that the dream realm is a spirit realm, whatever. If that was the case, then there would still have to be some kind of super powerful beings in here. And even if you say that's us, that we're conscious creator beings or whatever, right? I do believe that on some level that is true. But there's a lot of people here, and not all of them are conscious. That doesn't mean that they're not creators. Or perhaps, conscious is a relative term, that there's a lot more nuance when it comes to consciousness, levels of consciousness and so forth, Well, just because some consciousness is brainwashed or programmed in sort of a hive mentality or something doesn't mean that consciousness cannot affect the reality that we live in. So it seems to me that if this is a conscious creator reality, whether you want to say it's a spirit realm or a dream world, then the reason why it's so crappy is because you've got basically a majority of people with a greater level of unconsciousness whose emotions, thoughts, intentions, beliefs are being shaped and programmed by a small group of people or creatures, demons, fallen angels, whatever the heck, right? But okay, I'll touch more on why I think that's incorrect though. Um, in the next when I get to the simulation theory thing, right? Okay. So I think some people, believe that's basically what's happening. That a lot of people probably believe that, it's like, well, okay, right? Like, let's say you, what I've observed here as far as conscious creation goes is that it's like this place is more of a popularity contest that's not based in any sort of. There doesn't seem to be, you know, just reward for good and evil or anything like that. There doesn't seem to be. It seems to be more like a popularity contest that has to do with whatever level of consciousness there is of well, more people that, to some extent, I think that's like the more you have the love of innocence on your side, especially innocence, but even just collectively, more people that think highly of you, that care about you. This kind of travels across the brain waves or whatever of sort of a hive mind type of thing. There is like a kind of like a, you want to say, a psychic connection among people here, like you're aware of like the term 100th monkey effect. hmm Well, I'm just saying this sort of thing doesn't. It does seem like consciousness can affect the reality here, but if much of that consciousness affecting reality is unconscious consciousness, and that unconscious consciousness is driven by false beliefs and fears and doubts and worries and whatever the heck else, right? Or just anger, whatever, the deadly sins, right? I'm trying to say, what have I observed? I'm still on this whole, like, going over the possibility of sort of a spirit and or dream realm, that theory here. I'm just starting with that, but I don't think that could be it. I'll go over that in the next section here, right? Maybe I should save that for last and go over the other things that I don't think it is and explain why. Okay. So, Okay, continuing on with like the spirit dream. What I've observed here is that it does seem like other people's thoughts about you affect your reality. Other people's desire or intention for you can affect your reality. Potentially, yes. And it doesn't matter if it's just or right. Somebody hating you. Now, okay. But again, it's a give and take. It's like it's a popularity contest in a sense, right? It's like yeah, like I said, a popularity contest. It's almost like the idea of the balancing of scales or whatever. The scales tip more towards people disliking you or people liking you or whatever, and the more people like you, the more things work out good for you. And it doesn't have to involve any of those people directly helping you in any way, to their knowledge, consciously helping you in any way. Just the fact that they like you or that you made them happy. That's what I observe here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I imagine that like somebody could. I would imagine. I'll tell you how I think this world seems to work from my observation. Just this is just an extreme example, right? But and this is why I don't think it's this. Why I don't think would make sense for it to be a spirit realm. You could probably gain a lot of favor that would help you in your endeavors in life in this world by doing something like, I don't know, buying a round of drinks for everyone in the bar, or giving a bunch of free ice cream to a bunch of kids. Probably would be even better because the kids would be like, "Yay, ice cream!" You know. And if you did that like numerous times, they start to associate with you with like happy thoughts about ice cream, and then you've got a bunch of, you know, happy thoughts about you. Uh, positive, more people thinking positive things about you. And if that outweighs people thinking negative about you, then you'll find that wherever you go, more people are smiling and treating you nicely, even if you're 1,000 miles away from any of those people that know anything about you. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what people know about you. You could be the lowest piece of filthy scumbag on the planet, but just because there's people that like you or that associate you with happy thoughts or something like that, things could go. You could just have really great luck here, basically. Yeah. On the other hand, if you could have a bunch of total low life, scummy, hateful, hate filled, dark soul, like nasty types of people that are like high as a kite on drugs and whatever the fuck, could just hate your guts for whatever reason. Maybe you looked at them wrong. Maybe you whatever. They just don't like your stupid face for whatever reason. You know, if you got more of those people than the ones that think happy, happy thoughts about you, that could turn your life to shit. That's what I think this world is more like. It's more like a popularity contest, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's not just like a popularity contest in a physical sense, like, oh, well, I mean, like, you know that it's a popularity contest in the sense that if you, like, if you're in school and you're walking down the hall and you've got like, and your buddies with the whole football team or something, you know, then the rest of the school's gonna treat you nice and respect you and be all cool to you, and the teachers are gonna be all cool to you, and your parents are probably gonna be all cool to you and everything, and right. Whereas if you're just some dude walking down the hallway alone and like hanging out in the by yourself over in the corner, right? Then nobody wants to hang around you or be with you know. Yeah, but it's like that on a subconscious level in terms of manifesting realities in this realm. It seems right. I'm gonna say this realm, but I'll tell you, I really think, and I'm not saying you don't have the ability to manifest things. You have to be trying to find a target, try to figure out what you want, and believe as though you already had it, and just think about it, visualize it. That is good, that is helpful. But you also have to keep in mind that there's all these other people, possibly, that are thinking about you and visualizing the way that they want your life to be. And you've got to try to make it so your vision of your future overpowers their vision of your future. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, this is one of the things I've struggled with, right? What was that movie? Was it Uncle Buck or was this something I heard from George Carlin? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. He said something like, you know, it's important to. It's like you better know what you better know what you want to do, or you better know what you want to be before somebody else knows it for you. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people struggle is. Well, I think a lot of us probably we find ourselves in a world that seems like it's like a multi-layered video game that many of us just find to be stupid and we don't want to play. Like and distills force on us, and so much of this place seems so ugly and messed up. But I mean, I think that's what we deal with here. People talk about conscious manifestation, and I believe there's truth to that in this place. But I also believe that in a lot of ways, that's one of the reasons why I believe prayer works in a sense. But in some ways, also it's a popularity contest. I do believe there's some beings that are more powerful for whatever reason. Be negative forces and positive. If you want to say it's a spirit realm, we're talking like what, God and the devil, or however you want to put it, right? But from what I've observed, it almost seems like like they're more just like an aspect of a. I'll be honest, it seems more like they're an aspect of a program, the nature of which is to respond to the desires of the masses, right? And I think maybe that's what's creating this world of darkness, is that there definitely seems to be a certain number of people who, if you want to say people or some other entity, or is it some sort of somewhat malevolent fucking AI program inside of an artificial simulated reality, or whatever. There seems to be some sort of malevolence here or something that wants everything to be very bad, right? And it's formed a collective, manipulating the consciousness of the masses to be whipped into a frenzy, right? It's into a herd mentality. You see, convincing a person or of anything can be difficult. Convincing a huge group of people to believe the same thing and to almost become like animalistic and violent and crazy, on the other hand, seems to be easier than convincing that one, in a sense. Like, talk about herd mentality, it's like it's like some kind of hive mind thing happens, and people don't behave as they would normally when they're in groups. The same way a dog might be a really nice dog, but if that dog's out running around with 10 other dogs and you meet him on the street, he might attack you. You know? Same thing. Yeah, there's kind of. But when you're dealing with like collective consciousness, collectively forming reality, and you've got all these masses of collective consciousness grouped together being guided by a few and steered into directions that cause destruction and chaos and all sorts of dark stuff to happen, then that's on a larger grander scale of over the world, right? Like, well, now we get into like why things like television and radio and stuff like that are so dangerous, especially television, especially nowadays. That you know, well, I'll put it this way: imagine if Adolf Hitler could have had his speeches filmed in you know let's just say 1080p. I don't remember what the better format is, or 4K. Yeah, Adolf Hitler's speeches, 4K, full color, you know, best audio quality, translated in his own voice to every language on the face of the earth, broadcast into every home. He's in your living room and he's talking right to you, right? Can you imagine? Like, that guy was good at giving speeches, right? I'm just saying, imagine the power of that. Or, I mean, the same thing with like a minister now, like a televangelist minister. I mean, the power that these people have now compared to the kind of power that, I mean, like a king or an emperor in the ancient world, right, would have to, climb up a bunch of flights of stairs and stand up on a tower and shout to like a crowd. But he certainly couldn't reach, the ears of 100,000 people or 1,000,000 or 100,000,000, a billion, No. I mean, yeah, he could stand up on a hill and be like, you know, men, I've called you here to tell you, he could just shout some great speech, no matter how great his speech was and how great his, body language and hand gestures were, or whatever the heck, right? What great theater he put on, the whole thing, and he could have trumpets in the background or whatever the hell, wouldn't matter. He can't reach that many people to shape the consciousness of that many people and bend it to his will. So the idea of being able to conquer the world back then as a freaking laughable joke would be impossible. I mean, they had, like the bards, for instance, great, people that were great. It's just an example of, a group of people that were really great at passing on messages and giving speeches, and they would be chosen to bring to bring a message from the king or whatever to a court across the land and to read out his proclamation. You know, he would run in the room and be like, "Greetings, great king! I am here from the kingdom of Narnia." On behalf of my great King Harold, you know, and my lord has sent me to tell you of his great triumph, and he'd wave his arms around and, stand up on a chair or something and make great gestures, as he orated this speech that, you know what I mean? But even then, that was an effective method for them to like gather more people from further away back in the day. But like, they ain't gonna get millions and millions of people to come join them in the fucking slaughtering people or whatever. No. My king demands that you pay tribute. Who the hell is he? I said he was walking. I didn't vote for him. Right? What I'm saying is, if you're talking about collective consciousness manifesting reality, and then you give power to one person or a small handful of people to be able to orate messages to the collective consciousness of billions of people, that might be a problem. You know what I mean? Especially if this reality or the consciousness of reality, you want to call it through the universe or God or whatever the heck it is, right? If you want to say, right? I'm not even going to say, maybe, okay, I'll just blurt out what popped in my head, but I'm not saying I believe that either. No, you know, it's a tulpa. It's not a tulpa, you know. I just thought of this scene. Well, like God and the devil and all that kind of shit, right? Have you ever heard of it? Do you know what a tulpa is? Look up tulpa. Yeah. It's a thought. It's okay. Okay, a tulpa is a thought form created by a shared belief of multiple people believing the same thing that creates a being that is created, that is a thought form. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying What do we know, right? Anyhow, moving on past the whole idea of dream realm, spirit realm. God, how long is this now? Ah, shit. Oops. Okay, so. God, this is going to be a long one if I really get into this. It's already too long. Should I jump right into like the reason why I think it's a simulation, or should I go over why I don't think it's multiverse or time travel? Okay, see if I can possibly make that short. Okay, so why it's not a time travel or a multiverse? Okay, look at the change. Look at the changes of the Mandela effect and things like that. You see changes of history, right? how how would you let's try to take some like really large of it. Maybe I should even think of something smaller, like let's say Berenstein Bears as a Mandela effect, right? Let's say you're a time traveler and you want to go back and change the Berenstein Bears books to Berenstain. What do you do? I mean, okay, that's a little more simple because back in history, I could tell you how that one maybe could be done, but again, it would be a taxing endeavor just to do that one thing, right? You'd have to go back to the lineage of their family, research genealogy, uh, and or the language. You'd have to find somebody way back in history or something that put a one letter in place of another or something and be there when they were writing their name down and be like, "Are you sure that's spelled right? I thought it was supposed to be like this," right? I mean, yeah, I guess you could do that, right? And then maybe that would work because really, back in the old there, you know, in the old days, like say whether it's English or whatever language it was, there was no consensus on how a thing is supposed to be spelled, like you read old letters and stuff, even from like the 1700s and stuff, like Benjamin Franklin writing stuff down, and he might write, like for instance, he might write a letter, and the word "seen" might be spelled with an F, like fiend or something, or hath might be spelled like you know H instead of hath like HATH, it might say half like HAF. It might say fiend instead of seen. It might say UND like und instead of and. It might say in the same letter somebody might be just talking about a guy named John, and on the first line they might say John went to market the other day, and they might write JON went to market the other day. And when he had fiend, the grocery that he wished to buy, John, spelled JOHN, did, take it to the register and pay for it. And then John, that's now like JOKN or some shit, right? They didn't spell things, they just, yeah. So, I mean, it'd be kind of random or something. You have to really go to, like, quite a bit of effort just to, like, get somebody to change the way that their last name was spelled or something, really. But that's nothing, though, right? People talking about like changes to the Bible. Okay, let's give me, Okay, so you're gonna go back in your time machine to the council to the Council of Nicaea. Okay, so how fluent are you in ancient Greek and Latin in the first place? Like, do you think you could really keep up? I mean, can you read, write, speak fluently, understand the dialect of the time period, understand the customs and the dress of the time period? I mean, do you think you could just like take your DeLorean and park it behind a bush somewhere and you're gonna what? Just like march into the fucking emperor's castle and be like, I'm here to join you in the Council of Nicaea. I mean, you think about how, even if you could, speak the language fluently and you came in there with like a giant chest of gold, and you were dressed right, acted right, and everything, in order to get in with people that, like, upper high society elites or something, you'd have to put on one hell of a show. And, it couldn't just be some quick thing that gets you into something like the Council of Nicaea. You would have to build up a reputation and gain trust and respect of a bunch of super wealthy, some of the most intelligent, some of the most wealthy, elite, powerful fucking people of the time. And if you cause them to distrust you, in any way offended them, then you're liable to find yourself surrounded by legionnaires with their sword at your throat, or to take a sip of wine and fall dead onto the table. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, or like, how do you just, there's all sorts of changes, history that are talked about in the Mandela effect, right? Like, people talk about the construction of the pyramids in Egypt changing, right, and being different. How do you do that exactly? Like, at the first place, are you fluent in ancient Egyptian? Do you have Daniel Jackson from Stargate working for you? And even if you do, does he also look like an old-timey Egyptian that can just walk into Egypt? Or you got like a really good story about like how he's from this neighboring kingdom that's come to pay tribute to the freaking pharaoh or some shit, or like, and even if so, right? I have come to show you of a great technique for building pyramids. Cool. Tell me, how do you build this pyramid? Daniel? Daniel Jackson? I'm sorry, I thought you were an expert in building pyramids. Are you an expert in building pyramids? Better than the people who built the pyramids? Are you, Daniel? You gonna tell him how to build it better? How to build it differently? You're going to convince the pharaoh and the chief builder of the pharaoh's pyramid to change the design of the freaking pyramid? How? Seriously. And imagine how much time that would take and how, like, dangerous that would be. And now think about all the other changes. All the other changes. What? Hundreds of thousands, millions, probably millions of changes, many of which are so obscure and random seeming. Which, if that, yeah, which again, that would start to lend credence, instead of time travel, to the multiverse theory, right? But if it was a multiverse, then it should be random. But it's, if you've been paying attention to the type of changes, you can see It's not that random. No. Because with as many changes as there have been, each change, each little minor change, if it was a multiverse, would indicate that you are now in another parallel universe and that you've traveled to, you know, if one thing changes one day, another thing changes another, and so on and so on and so on. And there's millions of these changes, then you've been to millions of different parallel universes. Things should be much, much different. And I get that they are, but I mean, way more so. Like, you should have been to, well, I haven't gone to, like, a parallel universe where Napoleon beat the Rothschilds, or a parallel universe where the Nazis won World War II, or a parallel universe where Spain was in control of the United States, or a parallel universe, where, I don't know. Where, the Vikings conquered the Normans and so on and so forth, and still Viking culture ruled the world, or whatever, or whatever. Just any number of things could happen. I mean, or what about, like, even the most simple things, like we should wake up in a parallel dimension where I mean, I get that there's, like, Mandela people that are like, oh, he was dead and now he's alive, or whatever, right? So why not, why not Chris Farley? Why not John Candy? Why not Bruce Lee? Why not Jimi Hendrix? Etc., etc., etc. Janis Joplin, Mama Cass, Belushi, you know. Why don't you wake up in a parallel reality where Sylvester Stallone was the star of Terminator movies? Or where Frank Sinatra was the star of Dirty Harry, you know? If we're talking about randomness and chance, well, I mean, especially now, the things that I just, or heck, it could be O.J. Simpson starring in the Terminator. You know that O.J. Simpson was considered as a lead for the Terminator? So was Sylvester Stallone, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the guy in the original, the guy whose clothes Schwarzenegger steals in the first Terminator movie? That guy would have been excellent as the Terminator. You would know this if you remember him from the X-Files. He was like the psycho alien that went around killing other aliens, or he was like an alien assassin or something. Yeah, you'd know that he would have made an excellent Terminator. Right? I'm just saying, just random by chance, right? And that's, did you know that Sinatra was the first choice, and that they had like 4 or 5 other choices for Dirty Harry before, but they all turned the role down before Eastwood got it. Did you know that? Yeah, there's a lot of movies like that. How come we see like different titles and weird little changes, like, oh, they got a different guitar, the clock tower looks different, oh, there's a different car over here, oh, this little thing, this little detail, and this little detail. But it's never like, a different lead star, you know. What are the odds, right? I'm just saying it looks that without, or how come like you don't wake up on a parallel world where the continents never drifted and we're living in fucking Pangea or something, you know? Or you wake up and there's like dinosaurs walking around and shit, or you know, you go outside and pterodactyl flies overhead, you know, or there's like dragons flying around, you know? Like, holy fuck, what was that? What's wrong with this guy? What, you never seen a dragon before? Jeez. What planet were you from, man? Jeez. Fucking dragons. There's always been dragons, man. Come on. You know? You see what I'm saying? You know? Like, well, basically what I'm pointing at is, okay, back to, okay, now why I don't think that, why I think simulation makes more sense than the spirit realm or dream realm fucking thing. Even though I'll admit that consciousness plays a role in manifesting the reality in this place. I believe it does play a role in it. But, and I do believe that there is some kind of external force of malevolence and of, you know, with good intention. It's like there's something that wants to do us in and something that wants to help us out. That seems to be true, right? Which is, you know, tantamount to forces of light and darkness, to God and the devil, good and evil, blah, blah. That is something that exists here, okay. But but it doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense the way that it goes down, though. You know? Like the way this is all playing out, it all seems. Well, I mean, no, I get that. If you're trying to think about this stuff from like a human perspective, based on your knowledge and experience, and like, oh, that's what I'd do if I was you know, whatever the heck, right? But if you, I mean, seriously, try for a moment just to use your imagination, okay? To even attempt for just an instant to conceive of how intelligent something, whether it be good or evil, would be if it had lived for, say, 10,000 years or 100,000 years. Like if you were alive for 100,000 years, don't you think you would have learned some stuff? Don't you think you would have got really good at a lot of stuff? But on the other hand, I'll bet you would also be really out of touch too, right? You would think you'd be out of touch, right? I mean, because, like, think about, I'll give you an example, vampires, right? You always see how, you know, vampires being portrayed, right? I mean, do you really think you'd see a 500-year-old vampire being like Edward or something, walking around a high school. Like, yay, I just want to listen to NSYNC. I'm a 500-year-old vampire. I like dressing up like a fruit and listening to NSYNC. Fuck no, dude, be sitting in a castle somewhere, like, sipping freaking 400-year-old bottles of fucking mead or something. With, like, candles and, like, some guy over in the corner, playing a fiddle. Play that tune I like. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. It's my horse. I wish to go to town now. Saddle this horse and bring my carriage to me. We will go into town. I wish to buy some pizza. Right? Be wearing like a puffy shirt and stuff, Yeah. Be like pulling out a pouch with like gold in it, from Spanish doubloons or something, dropping it on the table. Would that be enough? What sort of toppings would you like on your pizza? Just make sure there's no garlic on it. Put garlic on it, I will have you all impaled. They're like, do you have any baby's blood? It's much better than your pasta sauce. Here, I have brought you some of my own recipe pasta sauce. You will put this on the pizza. Right? I'm just saying, like, if it was some kind of, like, ancient being or something, like, you wouldn't, no, or like a good, that would be like an evil being, right? Except they'd be, like, doing all sorts of evil shit, like, but it'd be more like the ancient, vampires in Blade that just don't fit in with society at all, and they're just hiding in their mansions or something, pretty much, right? Which I'm not saying that there might not be something like that around here. I'm just saying, like, that I wouldn't see them necessarily being very suited to get along in society, and I wouldn't necessarily see what purpose they would have for trying to control the population of the people or anything like that, because in any way other than whatever would affect them, right? Whatever they would do would have to be to their benefit, not to their own detriment, you would think. If it's some, but you would think that, like, God even would be out of touch or something, right? You think he's. Well, I don't know, man, you know. Well, put it this way, man. You know, I used to. My mom used to have this this you know, I guess beauty shop, right, in a retirement home, and I'd spend quite a lot of time going in and out of there, and I would clean the place and you know sweep up and everything. Since I was like a kid for a lot, you know, years. You know what I never saw? I didn't see the old people, you know, headbanging with Metallica, and I didn't see, you know, Snoop Dogg performing in there or anything. You know what I mean? I'm just making a point that, like, you know, that as times change, people kind of get left behind and, you know, with their own way, the way that they grew up and that they were raised and the things that they believed, and, you know, people get stuck in their ways. Each old dog new tricks. Why would ancient being be any different, especially one that ancient? Imagine how out of touch they would have to be. You expect me to believe that the devil is keeping up with the style of the times? That he's got like pop stars doing music videos. He's like directing music videos with pop stars and shit. Like, yes, my evil plan is working. Like, I have invented K-pop. No. Or what? I don't know. Just, I don't know. Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to conquer the world or whatever, enslave humanity, whatever, about evil forces trying to take over the blah, 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 right? I could come up with a better plan to do it than what I see taking place in the world. And nobody would even know that it was going on until it was too late, and still nobody would even know what was going on. Just one day it'd be like, oh, I'm a robot now. And you wouldn't even know you were a robot. You just would be, you know? Yeah, pretty much. Or you just wouldn't wake up one morning because, you know, the gas drones flew overhead everywhere and that was it. Or some shit, right? Be the end. Yeah. You'd just be fucking, you know, just, it would just be like game over. The end, you know. You'd just be living, you know, happy lives, happily ever after until one day, game over. Just like that. Yeah. But that's not what they're doing. They're just like, I don't know. I mean, how does this revelation of the method shit make fucking sense to you? And it's, you know, oh, it's the law of the spirit realm or whatever, and they have to tell us what they're doing. Like, really? I mean, do you really think that the kind of stupid shit that they're saying and the way that they're doing this Like, does this seem like the brilliant strategy of, you know, multi thousands of year old fucking genius beings? Well, I mean, seriously, like, for one thing, if you look at the technology already that, you know, I mean, they're probably, at this point, they're probably like a few years, maybe 5 or 10 years away from just being able to, like, spread nanobot, like nanoparticulate dust with mind controlling fucking robots in it, and just literally taking control of all of our minds in the blink of an eye without any of us even fucking being any the wiser. You know? Or they could have went like full on Terminator on us or something, you know? So why would they be doing all this, you know? We've got to do big rituals where we dance around in dark robes and talk about Satan. Like, how does that make any fucking sense to you? You know what I'm saying? You're telling me oh, this is a spirit battle, look at it. So obvious. That's why it doesn't make sense for it to be a spirit battle. Or a spirit realm. Because it's so fucking obvious. If you pay any attention to it, it's ridiculously obvious. It's right in your face. Why would a group that's gained all of its successes through clandestine action and secrecy come out in the open and wave his dick in your face? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I guess because game over, bitch, or something, or whatever, I guess, if that's what you want to think, but that just it doesn't. It just doesn't add up, you know, all this shit. You think that. Are you really, like, not capable of realizing that whatever power has been behind this has had control of the information and the internet and the television networks and all this shit the whole time? Not just like now or, oh, gee, maybe in the future they will. No, I mean the whole time. Why don't you go look up where the server that hosts the internet is? Yeah, look up where the www configuration server for the internet is located. Okay, just look it up. Okay, and you tell me that they haven't controlled that shit the whole time. Why would they tell us about this shit? Why would they publish a bunch of papers about it? Why would they give big fucking speeches about it? Why would they do any of that? You know? It just doesn't make any sense. No. Oh, I get it. I get you could try to say that they're playing the Hegelian dialectic. They're making a certain group of people the problem so that we'll react and they'll offer a solution. So we accept the New World Order as the solution to save them from the New World Order. Maybe. Maybe that's how they're going to play it, but I mean, it's just like It doesn't. Just doesn't really jive with, you know. No, I mean, especially enough you know about like the type of technology that exists and the type of technology that's being developed and stuff. I mean, nanobots, nanoparticulate. Just go watch the movie Gamer, okay? Or look up scene from Gamer. Look up Gamer Nano or whatever. It'll have the guy from Dexter in it, and damn it, why do I keep forgetting that guy's name? He's been in so many fucking great movies, but for some reason I keep mixing him up with Russell Crowe, and I know he's not Russell Crowe. He's been in more movies and better movies than Russell Crowe. And I should fucking remember his name more than I don't know. Whatever. Sorry, actor guy. Yeah, that guy's been in a lot of great movies. A lot of great roles in a lot of great movies. Even the ones that weren't great still did great at the box office, you know? Yeah. So anyhow, I'm just saying all of this shit makes a lot more sense if it's a damn computer simulation, but even that struggles to make sense because why is it playing out all this stupid shit, you know? What's the purpose? What's the point? You know? Why play out all this, you know, religious crap and spiritual crap and the ghost and the aliens and the weird shit and the weird synchronicities and blah 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 blah. Why? What's the point? We're testing you. Testing for fucking what? You know what kind of torture we like best? Oh, shit. Can be exhausting being conscious in a place like this. Especially when it means you don't sleep well. I'm like screwing myself over by not sleeping well. I should have been asleep like, oh, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours ago would have been nice. brain won't shut the fuck up. Scarfing down some junk food. Huh. Yeah, I'm doing. Not really. What's the point of this place, man? What is the point here? I'll say one thing. Sorry. Put that down if I want to speak, huh? If there's some kind of like later advanced race scientific minded people wanting to explore researching something, some of it. Something. Shit. Bad monkey. Right. Well, then I think everyone in this place is going about it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Or maybe not just in this place, but whoever's on the outside of this place that's trying to figure things out is probably going about it in the wrong way. Well, there's multiple reasons for saying that. And the guy in the movie Below said, why did you fail? He said, failed because I got caught. I said, no, you failed because you had the wrong dream. Honestly, there is a higher consciousness. I've experienced this state of mind before. It's just agonizing to hold on to it in a place that's this ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, is that what you're testing for? You're trying to find people that can be like, love, peace, light, love, brother. While there's somebody like cracked out of their mind, puking on their shoes. Hey man, can I get a cigarette? And there's like a fucking guy in a car blaring fucking devil music, like flipping them off as they almost run you over. You know? And there's a loud fucking machinery all around that makes fucking noise. Then you have to go spend your entire day doing some shit you hate. So you can just barely survive. And you're supposed to just do all this stupid shit and be surrounded by all this ridiculous unconsciousness. While you yourself are like, love, light, peace, harmony. I am at harmony and one with all. While you're like surrounded by extreme dipolar opposite of that at all times, you know. Not a comfortable place for sheep and wolves clothing. Right? Well, that's kind of what it comes down to in a place like this. People talk about, you know, the wolves in sheep's clothing or whatever, right? But the place, this world is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. So you better hope you have some sheep and some wolves clothing up in this bitch, right? But better idea though, just let's not be in this fucking place. How about that? Better idea. Tank, get me an exit. Yeah. Come on, Morpheus. Come on, Trinity. Where the heck are you? Right? So much freaking esoteric symbolism in those movies. Well, in that movie and the Animatrix and a bunch of other movies and stuff. Yeah. But again, you know, I there's definitely seems to be like some little symbolic bits of truth in it, but as far as there it also seems to be a bit of bullshit though. You know, I mean, I don't know, maybe shit, maybe they have the key to their little rituals or whatever the heck they do with their esoteric. Well, look, if you're dealing with other entities that don't know too much about and they're way smarter than you and older than you and don't really necessarily know that they're going to help you in any kind of way. Especially if you are a creator being whose consciousness can manifest reality. And it seems to me that what you really got to work on is yourself, not your intellect so much as your inner peace, oneness, your isness, basically, you know. But that's easier said than done amidst all this chaos, you know. I believe that something more akin to I think what we have going on here is a destruction of human evolution where people think that they're achieving evolution. They're actually trying to destroy humanity and going completely in the opposite direction of evolution toward the absolute destruction of humanity. Trying to use, well, well, here's the thing: whether we're in a computer simulation matrix that reacts to consciousness, or spirit realm, or whatever it is, I believe that we have far more power ourselves personally, and that if there are these dark beings causing all this destruction and so on and so forth, the only way they can do that is by manipulating the masses and focusing the intention of the masses to give them power. They are empowered in the same way a tulpa would be empowered by the thought forms created by masses of individuals. Mm-hmm. In order for, I believe that in order for a collective consciousness to be raised, really, I mean, of course, there's an aspect of needing to be aware of sort of as much as you can be of the nature of this place and what's going on and what appears to be, but more importantly, I think is timid nos, know thyself, right? You gotta know what's going on around, but more importantly is to try to be in a position where you can confront and know deeply that which is within. Find truth. But this place, yeah, you gotta find, truth, find life. This whole thing that's around us, though, this false construct, big distraction and disruption designed to keep us from that. Well, I mean, seriously, what do you think? Look for potential here. Geez, I mean, you go to a freaking Zen Buddhist monastery or something. These guys that have been walking up the down, stairs with pails of water and doing Shaolin Kung Fu and like meditating for out, multiple days in a row, like you know. But how do you think they would feel, and how great would their Zen be if you just like circled around their monastery with like helicopters blaring fucking Slayer and like satanic death metal all day, just like, you know, rain blood from an serrated sky, just constantly, just like, you know, you're just like throwing rotten fish heads over the wall and like blaring satanic death metal 24/7 so they can't hardly even fucking sleep, and you just do this for months, years and years and months and months and years. Like, I mean, I would think that, go in there, the freaking monks would have, like, committed Harry Carey or something, Like, that's what this world is doing. So you take, like, the ancient Super Zen Master monk. Like, how long would it take of this kind of fucking treatment before the Super Zen Master monk? I mean, why do you think they don't have hair? Even on top of a mountain, they had to know enough about the world, they ripped all their hair out. Like, this place is screwed up. Even from this great babbling brook of tranquility and peace, I knew so much about the world that I tore every hair out of my head. Right? This place is screwed up. Close your eyes. What do you hear? I hear the wind rustling through the trees. I hear a grasshopper hopping through the grass. Oh, yes, grasshopper. But can you not hear the resounding drums of the New World Order approaching in the tanks? Like, we will make soup with this grasshopper, for we cannot afford to eat. For the evil that rules this world has made it impossible for us to live. Yeah, right? We have already eaten all of the grass along the meadowside. Right? I mean, seriously, this is screwed up, dude. Oh, it's a school of enlightenment. Right. Yeah, screw a Buddhist monastery. We're just gonna send you to, like, Guantanamo Bay. That's where you will learn enlightenment, grasshopper, right? Fuck on. Like, seriously, this place is messed up. This is, this is supposed to be some kind of way for us to learn. I don't know. It'd be like if you're, like if this is a classroom, then it's a classroom where you say let's say it's a math class, and your math teacher is not writing anything on the chalkboard hardly, and they're speaking very quietly, telling you that 2 plus 2 is 4, and so on and so forth, right? And while they're trying to teach you how to write down and how to do an equation, there's like psychotic, methed out lunatics, shouting in your ear with a megaphone. That's what this place is like. I'm here to learn math. You don't need any fucking math! You fucking pussy! What's wrong with you? That's what this world does, man. Call this a school, like, get the scumbags out of here and we can fucking start to learn, If this is a school, this is like a school in the ghetto that's like got a bunch of psychotic, drugged out gangbangers in it. That's like, people are getting stabbed and shot in the middle of class and stuff. Like that's what kind of school this is. Like this place is fucked up.